Hi, my name is Joe Ohal. I am the owner of the Chimney Scientist, a home service chimney company. I am also a former clinical microbiologist. My graduate thesis focused on United States influenza infectious rates. Upon graduation, I conducted independent research in West Africa regarding Ebola and antibiotic-resistant tuberculosis. At that time, I founded and currently own AfriLab Medical Diagnostics, a full-service West African medical diagnostics company that partners with 47 hospitals and 23 pharmacies in the hopes of improving patient outcomes and reducing global antibiotic resistance in developing nations. Due to the recent global pandemic, I have developed a series of in-home service protocols for residential service contractors like myself. I have done this for 3 reasons. 1, to reduce the transient microorganism exchange between customers and employees, thereby reducing the spread of any infectious disease. 2, to provide an additional layer of safety to both employees and customers. And 3, to calm the public and make homeowners feel comfortable allowing service professionals into their homes post-COVID-19 upon government approval. Please remember, these guidelines are just mere suggestions and are superseded by all local and CDC guidelines that are constantly changing and may be more up to date. Let me begin by explaining the difference between sterilization versus sanitation. There's a common misconception about sterilization. Sterilization is the 100% reduction of all microorganisms. Sanitation is the 99.99% reduction of all microorganisms. Very often, sanitation is all that is required to reduce disease outbreak or issues with microorganisms. Sterilization is a very difficult thing to achieve. I'm going to quickly go over an analogy for transient microorganisms, which is a term that you're going to be hearing a lot in this video. There's something called, or something I like to call, glitter and butter. Imagine that we're covered in butter and glitter. We actually are. The butter is referred to as sebum. Sebum is the oil that is secreted on our skin that creates a protective coating on our skin. And the glitter is all of the microorganisms, bacteria, various organisms that are good and bad. When we touch inanimate objects, like this chair, we're spreading our glitter and butter on the chair. Sterilization through various solvents kill these microorganisms or the glitter. The issue is that they often require a very specific exposure time to that microorganism. So when I say I spray like a bleach solution on this chair after I've touched it, depending on the product, it requires an exposure time of sometimes 3, 5, or 10 minutes. You can look up these exposure times on the CDC's website for all the different products. There's another factor that plays a role in the ability to reduce microorganisms, and that is physical force. That's why hand washing is so important and moving our hands while we scrub. So imagine glitter and butter. If this chair is covered in glitter and butter, I can remove a lot of that glitter by forcefully taking my hand and pushing it over that chair. So if I do this in conjunction with a disinfectant, as I move off the majority of the glitter, whatever disinfectant I have on the surface that I sprayed on or put on with a paper towel, as that disinfectant evaporates, it's having an exposure time that breaks down the remaining microorganisms. All pathogenic microorganisms have an infectious dose. For example, there's a bacteria known as Staph aureus, and it's a very common pathogenic microorganism that requires 10,000 microbes in order to cause an infection. That means that if you have 9,000 Staph aureus in your body in a specific area, it's not going to cause infection because your white blood cells and your immune system are going to remove that pathogen before it's able to cause infection. You need the full 10,000 in order to cause infection or disease. Hence why sanitation, in reducing the number of microorganisms, not eliminating them, is beneficial to prevent disease. So the purpose of creating a sanitary technique protocol is to reduce the transient microorganism concentration and the exchange of transient microorganisms between the customer and the employee. Now I'm going to be going over the supplies needed to perform the sanitary technique protocols. The first thing you'll need is your disinfectant, whatever's recommended based on CDC guidelines. Your paper towels, just spread and use that disinfected. A sanitary bin. The sanitary bin is going to have your disposable plastic or your sanitized drop cloths. This is sanitized in between jobs throughout the day, inside and outside. You will need a face mask, preferably an N95 or better. It's difficult to come across face masks nowadays, so I'm working with this. You will also need something called Step 1, Step 2, and Step 3 gloves. These gloves would be your Step 1 and Step 3 disposable gloves. They are sanitary. Step 1 and Step 3 gloves are used to set up your work area for Step 1 and take down your work area for Step 3, used during the customer interaction and coming in and out of the home. Your Step 2 gloves are going to be your unsanitary work gloves. They're more heavy duty. They're what you typically use to perform work. You will need a reusable drop cloth or work tarp. You will need your work tools and a smile. All right, let's get started.